guys, this is Zach,
This is Evan.
and we're here to bring you another episode of That Cartoon Podcast. And it's been a little while. I've been a little busy with school.
Yeah,
Uh,
very busy with school actually. I barely ever see you anymore.
yeah, I've been a little stressed out, but now that school has ended, we decided that since it's the end of the year, like other podcasts, like other TV shows, we're going to talk about what we thought was some of the best and some of what was the worst of this year. Other shows like this usually have like an award ceremony, have like nominees and all these
All
big
this stuff
things.
piled up and different categories that have like 80 different nominees. We're not going to do any of that crap.
Yeah, we're just gonna in general talk about what we thought was the best and some of the worst. So really, we should just jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go.
So let's start pretty easy. Let's go with best animation of the year. We
Best animation of the year.
And by animation we mean a single cartoon. It can be as long or short as it can be, but it's not a continuing series.
Yeah.
I have a few of those in mind.
Okay.
Of course, we have to mention probably one of the best ones of the year, which was Bee and Puppy Cat.
Definitely. And we were really excited about this too because I remember when this was first, we were there when it's incepted. We saw it from the beginning. And then they put up the episode, and then they put up the Kickstarter for it to make it a full series, and now it's going to be a big thing. So it's bred this whole new series that's going to really take off, I think, next year.
I think don't I'm not exactly sure, but I think I actually knew about Bee and Puppy Cat before it was officially announced too.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you work for Frederator.
Work in a very loose term.
Granted,
Uh,
but still.
but yeah, I think I was just talking with Fred, and I mentioned that I liked Natasha Allegri, and I think he told me that she was working on something for the Cartoon Hangover program. So, uh, so I was very excited to see that, especially since I knew her affinity towards anime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's kind of what she gave us. She gave us basically an American Magical Girl series. You
Yeah,
know,
but I'd almost say that like if Being Puppy Cat was a full like multi-season series, I'd probably like it better than Sailor Moon.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but
Well, you gotta
well,
consider,
that's going to be interesting because Sailor Moon is going to be redone at the same time that being Puppy Cat's going on.
yeah, which we would usually, we should already be talking about it because Sailor Moon was announced in like the beginning of this year and was supposed to play this summer. Then
Hmm.
it kept getting pushed back, so now it's supposed to be like I think this upcoming February is when it's supposed to premiere.
I'm
So
excited, man.
so we might talk about that next year in our best anime category,
Yeah,
but uh, so far nothing.
yeah.
But another one I wanted to mention, coming from the far, far island of Japan, is
Hmm.
one called Little Witch Academia.
Yes, I remember the episode that was posted. That was really early in the year too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was I think like around March or so.
And
Uh,
it's the same team that did Gurren Lagann, is that right?
uh,
Or
it's by
Madoka?
Trigger Animation,
Okay,
who we'll talk a little bit more about them later. But they are an offshoot of Gainax, who
that's
famously
right.
made
Yeah,
Evangelion and Gurren
Gurren
Lagann,
Lagann.
Penny and Stocking. They're basically like some of the main directors and animators from Gainax went over to work on their own company, and the first thing they released was Little Witch Academia, which was an excellently animated show, very funny, like for all audiences too.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good.
And just like being Puppy Cat, it also had its own Kickstarter for a sequel. Um, it like not a full series like Kill or I was about to say Kill a Kill, like Being Puppy Cat's getting, but it is getting a sequel, and because it reached some of its stretch goals, I think it's going to be like a 40-minute mini movie now.
Ah, fun.
So that's definitely something to look out for. Um, do you have any before I mention my last one?
Uh, any for just best animation
Yeah.
that I thought were pretty good. Um, Not really. I mean, like probably the most interesting animation that I saw this year is from 2 years back. That was Goche's state of the art video. I
Yeah,
really learned about that, early this year. A lot of his videos have started taking off, ever since his hit last year with somebody I used to know.
yeah,
So I would say that was my favorite, but that's
yeah.
not really, a current one.
So I'll go ahead and mention the last one, which is another Cartoon Hangover production, which actually took me by surprise with how much I enjoyed it. I can't I will say that a lot of the stuff that Cartoon Hangover did was very good, but I didn't enjoy all some as much as I did some of the other ones. But one that I think really surprised me was one called Rocket Dog.
Yes, I loved Rocket Dog.
It surprised me in that it was a premise that I didn't think I would actually like enjoy very much, especially when I learned that the creator was one of the main voice actors. And I I've kind of mentioned in the past that I'm kind of iffy when stuff like that happens.
Well, I mean, it doesn't end out, great, but there have been, isolated incidents where it's been really good, like Regular Show has
Like
been a good example of that occurring.
actually two of the bigger ones, Regular Show and Adventure Time, has Pendleton Ward playing Lumpy Space Princess,
Yeah,
which is probably people's favorite character.
yeah,
But yeah, Rocket Dog really surprised me in that it was very funny and shockingly dark too.
yeah, it was actually. I mean, it's got this kind of manic energy to. First of all, I love the way it's animated. It reminds me of like early Simpsons or home movies in the way it does it, and it really kind of feels like an older cartoon. Like it's
Yeah,
brand new, but it really seems to replicate the style of like Ren and Stimpy in terms of its zaniness, which I really thought
yeah,
was very good.
definitely, and the fact they didn't really pull any punches either. Is definitely something I really appreciated from it, and yeah. So uh,
Sarah is actually uh, semi casting a vote of her own for Up on Poppy Hill, which was a Miyazaki film that was released this year.
I guess yeah, we can count that as an animation. I was gonna make a section on animated movies, but the problem is I didn't see any animated movies this year, so I
Yeah.
really can't vote.
Well, it was an interesting story up on Poppy Hill. It's set like in like what, the 40s or something like that. Back further than that. Okay, well, it's set forward from that. Okay, well, it's set somewhere mid-century, 20th century. It's about two people who fall in love and then kind of find out. Spoilers, by the way. They find out that they're related.
Oh, so we're going to. I was about to say spoilers too for something completely different, but I'll go ahead and say it. We're going to like old boy territory here, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't it's Miyazaki, so it's not hyper violent and it's not like
Yeah.
overly sexual or anything deep like that. But it's about these two discovering that and how
Speaking
it,
of
it changes their perception of each other.
speaking of Miyazaki, he has quote unquote released his last feature film this year, which is
Quote unquote.
well, he said it a few times, but I think this is actually his last one because he's what 70 something.
I wouldn't be shocked to find out that he doesn't do any films after this. I'm just not, I'm not betting on that horse yet.
So I'll go ahead and kind of say that this is probably should be considered one of the best animations because it's up for an Academy Award. I haven't seen it
Oh, good.
personally. Well, it's not up for Academy Award. It's on the short list for Academy Award.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of misspoke there. Sorry about that. Uh, but yeah, it's on the short list, and short list, of course, being over 100 films.
Hmm.
But it's interesting in that I think beyond any other film that he's made, this is probably his most personal film, because I had read a news story a little while ago that someone was complaining about the movie being revisionist history, which I didn't believe personally because it's a film about the 1940s plane developer uh, during World War II,
Hmm.
and he developed one of the planes that would end up being a famous bomber
The
during that
kamikaze
time.
planes.
Well, I don't know if it's kamikaze specifically, but yeah, it's something that like would end up being very devastating during war. And
Prehistoric icon.
Yeah, and one of the reviewers of it complained that he didn't talk enough about like some of the devastation that Japan itself caused during World War II, which I thought was kind of a misgiving for Miyazaki because that's not really what he does.
Yeah.
He's not a person that talks about like he's not a person that talks about like deep dark issues like full forward.
Yeah.
He'll talk about deep issues, but he'll usually talk about it in a way that everybody can understand and that won't offend anybody in a specific way.
Well, yeah, and his stories are always pretty much centered around like a central character, and they're not
Yeah.
like, a community as a whole. I mean, there's some pseudo exceptions like in Howl's Moving Castle, which was based upon, a pre-existing fiction, but still in that the central character was supposed to be Sophie.
Yeah,
Pretty much all of his films are
but in
like that.
doing research for that, I found out that the person who like designed the planes was designing it for a company named Miyazaki Airplanes,
Whoa.
which was started by Miyazaki's father during the 1920s.
Very cool.
So that's why I was saying this is a very personal story to him because this person that he made this story about is probably someone he knew.
Yeah, this is his family history. That's interesting.
And that's why I was kind of offended by what the reviewer said because he's talking about revisionist history for something that he was probably alive for.
Yeah.
Because Miyazaki was born in 1941, I believe.
Hmm.
So he like even if he wasn't around for a brunt of World War II,
Yeah, even if
which
he wasn't like totally aware of what's going on, he was born near the end of the war.
yeah, and he probably knew these people that he shows in this movie.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of that's a little bit of history on that, and I thought that was very interesting. I do definitely want to see The Wind Rises is what the movie's called.
Yeah.
I definitely do want to see that. It's very interesting. They just announced the American cast for that too. Uh, let me look that up real quick. Um, of course, being a Disney connection with
Yeah.
Ghibli, you have Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the main male,
Nice.
and Emily Blunt as the main female.
Very cool.
So
They
very
always get really good cast members
yeah.
for the Miyazaki films.
So next, let's go ahead and talk about best internet cartoon. And I made this category hoping that we could talk about a bunch of stuff, but
Uh-huh.
I only really have one, and that was Bravest Warriors.
Bravest Warriors was really good. I mean, I was really, really happy because a lot of the stuff we'd seen come out of Cartoon Hangover was, like, at best, kind of blasé, and at worst, really bad.
Like
Uh,
I would definitely say that there's some that I didn't really enjoy fully, but we'll talk a little bit later about some of
yeah,
that too. But
I did really enjoy Bravest
I
Warriors, but I mean, and that's to be expected with the team that was backing it.
yeah, I would say actually Bravest Warriors surprised me because I had high hopes going into it. Then I saw a couple things that made me kind of second guess myself. I'll go ahead and say that I got the first issue of the comic book, and I didn't think that the story in the comic book was very strong, and I didn't know if that would reflect badly on the show or not. Then I saw the first episode, and it and actually pleasantly surprised me. Uh,
Well, I mean, you talk about the story overall, and I've actually one of the things I find really funny about Bravest Warriors is that I have a hard time remembering what actually goes on in each episode story wise because it's a very character driven show.
yeah, it's very much like Adventure Time and Regular Show, where it's just a very
Yeah,
episodic show. It didn't
it
really
doesn't
have.
really need to have like huge arcs in it and everything.
Yeah, but I do remember moments from the show. Of course, everybody knows about Catbug, so you can't not mention Bravest Warriors without mentioning Catbug. So
Catbug's kind of become a bit famous.
but I also do it. One of the main things that really got me into the show from the first episode was voice actress by the oh my god, she's one of my favorite voice actresses, and I can't remember her name. This is awful. She's a comedian too.
You are a dedicated fan. You're talking about I know who you're talking about, Maria Bamford.
Maria Bamford, because yeah, she was in the first episode, and
Yeah.
she's one of my favorite voice actresses of all time.
Well, and
She's
her, I would imagine like spending an hour just hanging out with her would be the craziest thing that would ever happen. Even if you were just like getting coffee,
yeah.
that woman knows how to be entertaining in
I
like
will
the weirdest way.
I will give special mention to the Rooster Teeth animated adventures, which technically was not 2013. It started, I think, in like late 2011. But I think this year is where they really started to really develop as their own kind of animated series.
Yeah. as more than just an offshoot of their podcast.
Yeah. I think you mentioned one when we were discussing this earlier. Another.
It's well, I mean, it's relative. We've only gotten 2 episodes out so far, but it's by the same guy that makes Community, Dan Harmon, and it's called Rick and Morty, and it's about basically this kid who's in school, and his grandfather is a scientist, like a super scientist, but he's also like a horrifying alcoholic, and he goes on adventures with his grandson, and they're incredibly dark and humorous. They're very good. Like the first episode, there's a sub story about the dog had just been neutered, and the grandfather made the dog super smart because the father asked him to, and the dog becomes incredibly um, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, not just culture, but he becomes intelligent and becomes jealous or angry at the family for neutering him, and he starts this new world order with super intelligent dogs, and it's just mad funny.
I was
It's it's
going.
a,
I
it's a
was going to
very
check.
good series.
I was going to check that out last night, but I ended up not getting to it. But that does sound very entertaining. I
Well,
definitely
I mean,
will.
and it's really I'm really going to count it more as a 2014 series, even though it began this year, because we've only gotten 2 episodes and it's the last month of the year, and I'm hoping we're going to see a lot more, in the next few months. But it's very funny so far, and I'm really looking forward to more of it.
Okay, so does Sarah have anything?
Sarah?
Mm.
I'm guessing not. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're going to move on to something that Sarah may be able to talk about. We're going to talk about best anime.
Oh,
Oh.
you've been watching a lot of that on the Crunchyrolls,
So I will go ahead and say what my favorite anime of this year was, and that's Danganronpa the animation.
the one you can't stop yakking about. We really need to catch back up on it.
It's if anybody's listening has seen Persona 4 the animation, will absolutely love this series. It's based on a video game by I will figure it out later. Uh, it's a I don't know because I can't play it because it's on PS Vita
Well, it's coming to America soon, man. So just be
on
patient.
it's coming to America on PS Vita, so I can't play it.
Okay. Well, I might be getting a Vita soon, so we'll look into downloading it and letting you borrow it. Sound
But
good?
yeah, it's a show about a bunch of students that get trapped inside of a school, with the only rule being to actually exit the school, they need to kill each other and not be caught. It's a very interesting show, especially with the idea that the student of course it's about students killing each other. It's kind of like a battle royale mixed with a Phoenix Wright is how I explain it to people.
Yeah.
That's my big seller.
It's battle royale with all of the blood.
Yeah, well, there's a good amount of blood.
Well, obviously, but the point is they're not trying to just kill each other.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that you never really know who's going to die next and who is going to kill next. And as Evan can attest to, I won't spoil it because it's actually a very interesting part. In the very first episode, you find out that a person that you thought was going to end up becoming a main character is just completely killed off in the very end of the first episode.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't seem to care at all for the ideas of fan service or
Yeah,
anything of that nature.
yeah, and it has a very strong thing. And I will go ahead and say that like you can name any series that you've liked in like the last few years. If you think about the most insane ending to an anime you can think of, Danganronpa is at least 6 times more insane.
Oh, dude, we're like into the second episode and it's already crazier than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, but once you start finding out about a lot about the world and what's going on outside of the school, it really starts to ramp up what the hell's going on, especially when you find out like who's behind it all, which is a
Yeah.
really big surprise. And the only thing I'll say bad about Danganronpa is that because it's only about 13 episodes, they don't really get to go too deeply into some of the stuff that happens. And I've heard some people complain, especially some friends of mine have said that the ending feels almost like too sudden because you don't really build up to it as much as you would like if you were playing the game and finding clues for yourself.
Yeah.
But anyways, to move on from that, there's a show. I'll talk briefly about a show called Love Lab that I'm watching right now, which is kind of like Azumanga Daioh and Nichijou. It's about like a school, like a student council whose president is researching on how to get boys to attracted to her. And it's just a very funny
As
anime.
girls are wont to do.
It's very funny anime. It's very like the animation for it is very silly and very fun. That's why I said it's kind of like Nichijou because like they kind of go all out with some of the sillier animation sequences. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's I'll go ahead and mention all that in there. We have Tamako Market, which is one of the latest releases from Kyoto Animation, known for Suzumiya Haruhi, Lucky Star, K-On! Uh, it's not the greatest, but it's very cute, has very good writing, as to kind of expect from those people. And latest one that I actually found myself enjoying a lot was the shorthand of the show is called Watamote, which is
Hmm.
about a which is I think the English one is like I blame you because I'm not popular or I'm
You
not
told
popular.
me about this one,
Yeah,
yes.
it's about a girl who is trying as hard as she can to become popular and just failing at it. And it's very interesting because it's one of the few shows that kind of deals with social anxiety in a realistic way. She's not like some imperfect girl that has some hidden talent. She's just a girl that hates people and wants to be loved by people at the same time.
As I'm sure we've all dealt with at some point in our lives.
Um, and before I let Sarah go ahead and talk about this, I'm going to do two special mentions. Two shows that you guys are actually watching too. One being Golden Time,
Hmm.
Yeah.
which is written by the writer of Toradora, which a few years ago was probably one of my favorite animes of all time, just because of how it's written and how it just breaks a lot of anime cliches about relationships. And the other being Kill la Kill.
I do want to talk about Kill la Kill, because
Kill
that's
la,
really the only one I've been keeping up with at this point that's really new.
Kill la Kill is an anime by Trigger Animation, who made Little Witch Academia,
Yeah.
and they take Penny and Stocking, Gurren Lagann, and just ramp it up to as high as they can.
Just like the max. Well, I
It's
mean, like, and it's funny because, ever since they did Gurren Lagann, everybody keeps talking about like blow off series where they get to like unwind and relax. And every time you watch these shows, you really see that they stop being about just relaxing and they get really, really into it.
yeah, and what I think what some complaints that people have about Kill la Kill is its hypersexualization, to which I say that it's hypersexualizing to the point of just absolute comedy.
Well, I mean,
So,
yeah, there's no way that this isn't just them, giggling to themselves in the production rooms going, how can we possibly make this just like not sexy in the least bit, but incredibly funny because there's no way that you can take what they're doing in this show seriously. This is just
it's a
it's
show.
just it's amped up far
It's
too much for it to be anybody really taking, like an actual look into it.
it's a show where there's a secret organization called Nudist Beach,
Yeah.
wherein the members of it like to disrobe slowly with sparkles around them.
Naked.
The way you get more powerful is your outfit becomes sexier, but that's only if you're a woman.
Uh,
It's
Actually,
ridiculous.
people are arguing that it's almost the opposite. As it gets more powerful, she gets more clothing. Because and this is something I noticed a little while ago in the last two episodes. Now, the main character, now that she's powered up a little bit, during her fight with Non Non, who is the band leader,
That was a great fight, by the way.
during the fight with her, me and a few friends noticed that she's now wearing underwear
Yeah.
underneath her outfit, which she hadn't before.
Well, I
So,
mean, and like, speaking of the nun fight, her outfit turns into a ship,
which have you seen the latest episode?
like a whole ship. We haven't yet. We keep meaning to, and we keep getting
There's,
sidetracked.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say there's another mode to it.
Yes.
But yeah, and then in the latest episode, yeah, they just introduced another character whose whole shtick is that they do like these dramatic like anime like split screens and cuts, but she ignores that. So like they'll do like a split screen with like them two face to face, but then the character will just reach up and start stroking your hair beyond the split screen. But yeah, it's just a ridiculous show. And
I
actually,
love her friend whose name is like impossible to pronounce.
Mako.
Yeah, there we go. Uh, I love the fact that she doesn't like everyone else in there moves at least semi-normally and reacts semi-normally to things, but she doesn't. No, she's
Outside the box.
she must have heroin in her veins or something. The woman is off the wall in the way that she reacts to everything that's happening.
Definitely. So yeah, does Sarah have any that she wants to mention?
Probably the thing she's been paying the most attention to is actually the old Blackjack episodes. Not really anything new.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a crossover with Lupin and Detective. What's his name?
Detective Conan.
Detective Conan?
Yes,
Yes.
that's a big thing that's about to come out. I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah, I've never been very interested in Detective Conan. And the only Lupin thing I've seen is the Mine Fujiko show from last year,
Yeah.
which was very weird. And
Which is also really good.
yeah, but it wasn't this year, so
Yeah.
can't really do much about that. Any others that you want to mention before we move on?
I've been watching a lot of romance. I do enjoy Golden Time. You didn't ever watch Beyond the Boundary, did you? I really
We're going to be talking about Beyond the Boundary in a little bit.
love it. Um,
We're going to be talking
never
about that
finished-
a little later on. Don't
never
worry about
finished
that.
Mayu, which I really wanted to finish.
Mayu?
Yeah, Mayu.
Maoyu.
Mayu. The demon. And then there's... I could tell you a bad one that I
We'll
watched.
talk about that in a bit.
Don't worry about bad ones yet.
And the other one I really liked...
Yeah, she's been eating up this Crunchyroll app, especially since she got a smartphone
Oh my
lately.
gosh. I've watched so many bad anime just because of that rule. You gotta watch 3. Oh my god.
The three
killing.
rule.
Yeah. I really like Attack on Titan. I just like the character.
Yeah, Attack on Titan is one that I wasn't going to include because I personally don't like Attack on Titan, but I know it's a well-reviewed show and people like it.
Yeah.
I
I just like
personally
the way the
don't.
characters build. I
Yeah.
just love
I'm kind of passe on it. I'm interested in seeing like where the Titans come from and all that jazz, but I really have not been horribly invested in the series. It's a very slow-moving series.
Yeah.
It's fun. The indie game that the guys produced based on it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and say that they recently announced they're going to be releasing a 3DS game of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I'm
So-
interested to see how that's going to work
It just
out.
came out in Japan.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they actually because the smart thing to do would be just to copy the indie game, which
Yeah.
probably caused some legal issues, but whatever. If they just copied that and made their own game, they'd probably be pretty successful.
Well, judging from the trailer, it looks like the game mechanics are actually a bit different, and it doesn't look as fluid as the indie game, but it may turn out to work really well. I don't know.
And I give
Okay,
it-
so if Sarah doesn't have any others,
I have one more. I think it came out this year. I'm not 100% sure though.
what is it?
It's called. What is it called? Nagi na Asukara.
Nagino Asukara.
Asukara. Beautiful.
Nice.
Just pretty.
It's about people who come from the ocean and they start living on the land or something like
or
that.
it's about the relationship between people that live in the ocean and people on the surface.
I'm going to be honest, it's kind of weird, and I don't
I just like
I don't get
staring.
it.
I think it's like a professional computer company that's making this anime.
Anyways, let's move on to best episode of a series.
Best episode. I think we all have come to agreement on what this is probably going to be.
Well, what's yours?
My personal favorite is the Proof of Love episode
From
from American Dad.
I actually
Close
did,
second is
actually-
the Fortnite episode from Bob's Burgers.
I actually did not include that on my my list of best episodes. The
Really?
Love episode.
I
include-
loved the whole episode. I mean, obviously, it has one of the best moments in animation.
and we'll talk
but
about the best
whole
moment
episode I love.
in a second.
Okay.
First,
Yeah.
I went with Bob's Burgers in particular. I went with the Topsy episode, Topsy the elephant.
Oh yeah, the musical one.
And I just love that just because of how they put it all together and how they actually based it on a real thing
Yeah.
too, which is interesting. Cartoons usually
I
don't
love the
do
cameo where Topsy shows up to talk to her.
that. And I also included from Bob's Burgers, Boys for Now.
Oh God, the One Direction episode.
It's the one where yeah the youngest whose name is
Louise.
Louise, yeah, ends up developing a crush on one of the youngest members of a boy band,
I
which
want to know your secrets. I'm
which
so interested in you. Dun, dun, dun.
which
It's so perfect of a reflection of the boy band fans. It's ridiculous.
um I like that for one specific reason. That's because it's one of the only episodes where we actually get some development for Louise.
Yeah, who's usually, the one trick pony. We
Yeah.
got a little bit of it as well in the episode where the guy stole her hat, but I mean, she still ended up being the same at the end, which, and obviously in the Boys for Now episode, she didn't. She, developed a crush that she was fighting against.
So beyond that, I want to mention two specific episodes from The Legend of Korra, which is called Beginnings Part 1 and 2,
Okay.
which I asked you to watch a little bit of last night, and I'll go ahead and link it to some of the clips from it, but it's a very interesting episode in where they take a look at the beginnings of the Avatar.
Okay.
I went ahead and sent you a video of it.
All right, let's take a look at this.
Skip through a little bit of it. Just look at some of the animation for it and some of the art
Okay.
that they did, especially at the 1 minute mark. Look at some of the backgrounds that they use.
The fluidity.
Yeah, well, the animation on Avatar has never been subpar, thankfully.
But what really interested me
Ooh,
in
look
this
at
episode,
those backgrounds, though.
what really interested me in this episode is the fact that they used inspiration from ancient Chinese and Japanese art styles.
Yeah, you can see a lot of the particularly the ukiyo-e drawings here in the clouds.
Yeah, and a lot of the creatures, especially earlier and later in the episode, they meet the four guardians of the elements, which are gigantic turtle creatures. Which
See that.
in which they it's not in this clip, unfortunately,
Ah,
but you can look. I definitely recommend, even as a standalone, this is actually a really good episode.
yeah.
Um,
At some point, we need to catch up back to Korra, completely.
yeah, but
So far behind.
yeah, the giant turtle creatures, and they're all like all the creatures here are designed like they're kind of ancient creatures, and it's almost like you're looking at an ancient painting. And
Well, I mean, like even here in this clip you sent us, where he's fighting essentially like a scroll demon.
yeah, and yeah,
Really interesting stuff. And look, it's so colorful too. I love it.
It's engaging.
Or this Oni that he's looking at right here at the end of the clip.
yeah. And beyond that, of course, I'll talk a little bit about probably one of my favorite shows of all time, Adventure Time.
Of course.
I have 3 episodes from that. That is Bad Little Boy, which is the second Fiona and Cake episode.
I love it.
I liked that one. I felt like it was a little rushed to me though.
The end, yeah.
The end was a little rushed, but I think the build up to that was actually really.
Oh, the build-up was
fun.
perfect. Yeah, there's no argument there. I just felt like the payoff wasn't nearly as drawn out as I would have liked it to be.
Aw, you better not say my favorite episode from that.
Another episode was Simon and Marcy,
Yes,
Good one.
which is of course looking into the past of
of the Ice King and Marceline.
the Ice King and Marceline, and we kind of learn a little bit about how the world developed and what happened.
Not to mention the reference in that show to Cheers. I thought was
yeah.
particularly because a lot of I think Adventure Time fans, obviously don't know what Cheers is, being of a certain age.
And actually, one that not a lot of people consider, but actually I liked a lot, was one called The Vault.
That's the which one is that one?
That's the one where we first learn about Shoko.
That's right, the ghost he saw in one of the previous episodes.
Yeah. I like episodes that talk more about the Candy Kingdom.
The history of things, right?
Yeah, and how
That's one of the things I really loved about Adventure Time just as a whole. They have this really open universe, and they don't really have a problem with reaching past like the basic characters and exploring what could be beyond that has nothing to do with the main cast. They do those episodes really well.
Yeah. Plus, it has a guest appearance by someone I enjoy a lot, and actually, uh, Simon and Marcy. Not Simon and Marcy, but Bad Little Boy and this one have guest appearances by people I like a lot, which are in Bad Little Boy, it's Donald Glover,
Hmm.
who is well known on Community. And completely off topic for a second, I just learned a little while ago that Donald Glover is only appearing in a few episodes of Community this season.
Aw.
Only like 5 episodes because he's working on his album, which makes me very sad. But
Well, good luck to him.
oh, another episode I liked a lot, and I'm gonna have to check a little bit. I'm gonna check it back a little bit. I liked Frost and Fire, which was Flame Princess versus Ice King,
Yeah.
and I have to check to see if this is this year. But there was a Thanksgiving episode that they did, which was like, or Thanksgiving or Christmas, which was which was the Firefox and the ice creature
You mean the ice golem and
and the fire
the
like
golem and the fox?
yeah.
I think that's from a couple years ago, man.
Is that
Yeah, because that was one of the first things where I really loved the idea, like I was talking about earlier, where they expand the world and don't focus on the main cast. That episode, I think, is one of the first really good examples of them doing that in the show, and that was a couple years ago. I think that was like
and I'll mention one more, which is which is called Be More, which is when we kind of learn about the BMO
yeah,
and BMO and CMO and DMO. It's of course it's another one where they kind of expand the universe of Adventure Time.
extensively actually. They go like into this entire new world.
Yeah, and they have another one of my favorite actors doing a guest appearance, which is Aziz Ansari.
Yeah,
Does the voice of Demo, the tour guide, and probably one of the best stories of all time to me about casting is did you hear how he was casted into that role?
no,
It literally, um, Pendleton Ward went on Twitter and contacted him publicly and said, "Will you be on an episode of Adventure Time?"
nice.
And that's how he did it. Like, yeah, I think it was even like last minute while they were animating the episode.
Imagine if like a show you didn't like asked you that. How do you react?
Delete.
I'm not here right now. Please leave a message.
And just a few other ones. There was a recent one, Box Prince, where it's just like an entire kingdom of boxes with cats in them.
The cats, yeah.
Yeah. Slime Princess one. Just a lot of episodes this season, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more later. Best moment. Or wait, hold on. Do you have any more best episodes?
Nah.
I do.
I mean, I was talking about my one of my favorites from this year was the Fortnite episode of Bob's Burgers.
Which
That's the
one?
Halloween one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I just that annoying little girl character that they introduced seals the entire episode. It's great. It's just a great episode.
Which, by the way, another appearance of Aziz Ansari
Yep.
as the Indian kid.
Yep. Daryl.
Yep. Sarah, you were saying something?
First episode of Archer,
First episode of
the
Archer.
new season.
The new season.
Opens
Which one?
up with him as Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
I forgot
god.
about that. Yeah, was that?
Crossover one.
Oh my god.
I thought that was last year.
Was that last
Let me
year?
see.
I'll go ahead and look it up real quick. List of Archer
Beginning of the year,
episodes.
actually. It was like literally the very beginning of the year.
Uh,
I looked it up. I didn't expect that.
just January 17th, 2013. So yeah, that was technically this year. Any others?
I like Adventure Time the Sky Witch because the background.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, which one was the sky? That was the one when
It's
that was-
about Marceline and.
It's where
Princess
she has to go get her teddy
doll.
bear.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about that episode. I actually like that one a lot too.
Yeah, and I just love.
Oh,
I know you're familiar anymore. I want to be a dancer.
yeah, that was probably one of the better ones. Let's see. there's an episode of Regular Show that I want to mention, but I'm afraid it's not from this year.
Which one?
It's the one with the geese.
That might be from this
Oh,
year.
the funky geese that like made them do
The
everything
like
they...
the Mecha episode that
Yeah.
like tied everything to that. I think that was either the season ender for last year or the season opener for this year. I'm not sure though.
But yeah, that was this year.
Yeah.
The geese and the geese and the ducks.
Or was it like their 100th episode or something? It was some big event.
It was touted as their 100th episode, despite being the 98th episode.
Ah.
But it has the best moment in which they played the touch when they turn into the mecha.
Yeah.
The
You
mecha-
got the touch. Dun.
Which any use of the touch automatically makes stuff better. I'll go ahead and say that.
Power.
Just because
Well, I mean, regular shows always had really good music, and it doesn't have to write its own. It really gets it gets the properties for really good songs in its show.
like Mississippi Queen, which another episode
Yeah.
I like, even though that's like first season, I think.
Or Everybody's Working for the Weekend.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was. I was surprised when they played that.
Yeah. So, do you have any best moments?
Well, I already told you from my favorite episode, the best
Yes.
moment is the Proof of Love moment.
From American Dad, and that's actually what I listed, the Majestic song from American Dad, which introduced me to Wax Fang, which is an amazing band,
Oh yeah.
especially like for being what's kind of a small indie band.
Well, I mean, American Dad has a track record of doing stuff with small indie. I mean, look at My Morning Straight Jacket, the
Which-
episode where they talked about My Morning Jacket.
Yeah.
They do this a lot, and it's really cool.
One I will mention from Legend of Korra, which unfortunately I'm going to have to talk a little bit about spoilers, but it's not a huge one.
Okay.
During the second season of Legend of Korra, they go to the spirit world and meet a bunch of spirits.
Okay.
And it's completely unexpected. But while they're walking through the spirit world, this man walks up, and as he enters from the shadows, and this is after Korra's like lost, and she was feeling unsure, and ended up becoming a child again because of that, because she was feeling unsure.
Mm-hmm.
And the person to help be her spirit guide and to help her regain her confidence ends up being Iroh from the original Avatar,
Oh, wow.
which no one expected because the person who originally played Iroh passed away. So
Yeah.
no one expected Iroh to ever actually return, but he did.
Who played him in this new episode?
I think it was the person who played him during season 3 of Avatar.
Okay.
But he did a really good job, and he sounds just like the original Iroh.
Nice.
And he returns again for another part, but I won't reveal any of that.
Yeah. I need
Um,
Sarah, what's yours?
My Little Pony,
Which one?
the last episode of season 3, or was it 2?
Which episode is that?
It's the episode where apparently all hell breaks loose, and then at the end it's revealed through the powers. I don't know what it's called. It's just some kind of pony power.
You know, for this being your best moment,
It was just a good
mentioning,
moment,
you,
okay?
you seem to know very little
It's a
about
very
the-
good moment. Twilight Sparkle gets her wings.
Oh, when she becomes an
Princess.
alicorn.
She becomes a
Yeah.
princess.
yeah, totally.
That freaking show.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that show on that podcast. It's one of the best.
Sorry. You should
One
have
of the-
abandoned me.
Our relationship with that show, sweetie, is
To go back on best episodes for a bit, I do.
yeah. Let's do that.
I do want
Fine.
to talk about probably one of my favorites is Gravity Falls season finale, which is the Dreamscapers and that, and to kind of put it into the best moments. It's not a specific moment, but any moment where you have the radical dudes, Kraz and Xyler, the radical 80s dudes.
When she's in the giant hamster ball,
Yes,
she walks by, they're like, "Whoa!"
they're probably two of the best.
So 80s,
Plus,
amazing.
right before they get deleted by the pyramid guy,
Yeah.
actually do a dance that's a reference to a popular meme. I'll have to find that later, but I'm like the only person that noticed it, like out of our friends watching it. So
Well, I mean, Gravity Falls certainly does not skimp on the knowledge of memes. Like the credit scene at the end of one episode where all they did was put waddles in lolcats, basically.
Yeah.
And then my final best moment is probably the song segment from Bad Little Boy, which is Bad Little Boy, Good Little Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Which I actually saw that before I actually saw the episode.
Well, I mean, that was the preview for it.
Yeah.
Did it disturb you though when Cake started dancing?
Why?
When Cake got the human figure, it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
That didn't seem weird to me. I mean, it didn't do anything for me, but it didn't seem weird to me.
Awkward.
So, do you have any more best moments before we move on?
I don't think about it.
No? All right.
So, I guess we'll go ahead and do the final category for the best, which is Best Cartoon. And we'll go ahead and do some special mentions.
Okay.
These are shows that did not premiere in 2013, but had really good seasons, which
Mhm.
is Adventure Time,
Mm-hmm.
regular show,
Mm-hmm.
Gravity Falls, which had an entire year for one season.
Yeah.
It started in July 2012 and ended in, I think, August 2013.
Yep. That's right.
And
Too
then,
much.
and then American Dad, which, opposite of Family Guy, has actually had a really good season.
Yeah. I mean, and I particularly love this about American Dad. I don't know if it's going to sour at any point, but it's lasted a lot longer than like Family Guy has.
Please don't.
I think what helps American Dad is that it doesn't really like stick to any particular like continuity or particular style of joke telling even.
Yeah.
They just kind of do whatever they want to do and just have fun with it because they know they can't really get canceled, so they just do whatever they want.
Well, I think it doesn't feel the pressure to keep up appearances like how Family Guy did when it came back
Yeah.
to life and was hailed as this brilliant, dynamic series. And you
And-
know how they're doing now with trying to keep ratings up, even to the point of killing off Brian in that episode.
And then bringing him back yesterday.
Yeah. And
And
they were always going to bring it back, sweetie. No, you
So-
don't kill off a cast member like that.
So I have 4 series here that premiered this year that I actually thought were very good.
Let's talk about them.
We have Axe Cop.
I have not seen X Cop.
It's based on here. Let me look it up real quick, just so I know it's the right one I'm talking about. If it's what I think it is, the original is a web comic, written by brothers Malachi Nicole, who was age 5 when he started writing it, and his brother Ethan Nicole, who is 29. He basically talked to his little brother, who was 5 or 6 at the time, and asked him to tell a story. And he told the story of Axe Cop, and Ethan would take the story and then make a comic about it. And every week he would ask him to tell more of the story, and every week he would make another comic page about it.
I am currently looking at some of this art, and it is amazing.
And it got so popular that Fox actually picked it up to make it a full series,
Nice.
a television series. And apparently, from what I've heard, the television series keeps very much to the heart of the original, and has some
Nice.
very good actors in it, including Nick Offerman and Patton Oswalt in main roles. And Patton Oswalt's probably one of my favorite comedians beside Maria Bamford and
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle and a lot of good comedians.
Imagine if they were all together.
I personally have not started watching it yet, but I do plan to start.
Is it Ninja?
No,
Yeah.
it's oh yeah, MC Ninja
Yeah.
on a team.
Another one, branching. Adventure Time has had a weird branching effect lately, where you have Adventure Time, then you have Bravest Warriors,
Mm-hmm.
and you also have Bee and Puppy Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them originally worked on that. Pendleton Ward and Natasha Leggeri.
Yeah.
Then you have writer and I think artist Rebecca Sugar, who also did a lot of the songs. I
Yeah,
believe.
she did a lot of the songs, and she built the title intros and did the storyboards.
Yeah. She's also working on her own show now too,
Nice.
called Steven Universe, which is about a magical girl group where the main character is a young boy. who's part of this magical girl group called Steven.
Idea's been taken.
My
care of.
idea's been stolen. Oh well.
I watched the first episode last night, and it's definitely got that feeling of like it's very well written and
I
has
love all this American Magical Girl stuff that's happening. We're gonna have that. We're gonna have the new Sailor Moon. This is gonna be an interesting year.
Yeah. Should I just stop writing?
Yes.
Just
God,
give up
yes.
on life.
if you haven't watched Steven Universe, definitely give it a chance. It's because, and also what's interesting about it, and if you go look up a picture of it, they do not use traditional character designs with the girls, especially when you think magical girls. You have a specific like thought, which is like Sailor Moon,
Yeah.
Sakura. Go look up Steven Universe and take a look at how those characters are designed.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh wow.
This is very like almost Tezuka kind of stylings.
Yeah, it has the black girl is actually British. Let's see. The characters are Steven Universe, which is the main guy. He's the boy in the front. You have Garnet, which is the black girl with the big fist. You have Amethyst, which is the skinny one, and Pearl, no, Amethyst is the big one, and you have Pearl, which is the skinny one.
Interesting.
Uh,
Let's check this out.
And yeah, the basic idea is that he became part of this group because he's the son of the former leader, Rose Quartz, and ended up getting her magic gem.
He plays the ukulele.
He plays the ukulele.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Means we've got some new songs to learn.
that, and I'll definitely continue it. This next one I kind of ping pong back and forth if I should include it, but I kind of consider its own series. So I'm going to say Legend of Korra, the second season, which is the Spirit Book.
Mm-hmm.
It technically is a second season of a series and shouldn't be counted, but Avatar has always kind of been kind of independent with each of its series. So I'm going to count it. And it had some of the best episodes where they first go to the spirit world and the beginning of the episode, like I mentioned earlier. And the last one is actually one that I didn't even think I would be adding until I heard about it, which is Mickey Mouse.
Oh my god,
Oh,
Mickey
yeah.
Mouse was amazing.
Yeah, they just started a new Mickey Mouse series, which you think with a with a big company like that, they'd only make stuff that's very kid friendly and would never appeal to us, but
We've been watching
We're talking
that.
about the one where he like they do them in different styles around the world,
Mickey
right?
Mouse 2013, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the new one that
we've been watching that.
Oh my god, it's
It's
amazing.
it's very different.
yeah,
love it.
they do a lot of different stuff with that, and I think it's like it's weird. Disney's been kind of taking a lot of odd risks lately. With they got Gravity Falls, and then they did the new version of Mickey Mouse.
Well, I mean, and I love it because it's paying off for them too.
Yeah, they're two of our best series of the year. So
Yeah. Keep it up, Disney.
yeah, and so yeah, those are
French
some of
Noble
the
episode.
some of the best series. You guys have any before we move on to the other subject?
Yeah, honestly, other than the ones you've mentioned, not really. Most of the series I've watched this year that are new, that started this year, have not been very good.
Good.
Yeah. So let's talk about the worst of this year. And
Okay.
We kind of kept this very condensed because we didn't want to seem like overly negative people, but there have been some stinkers this year.
Oh my god.
So worst anime, first off.
Diabolic Lovers.
I don't know what that is, but
It's horrible.
I'm going to talk
I'll
about
let her
one
take
that's
over
probably
this
going
one.
to. I'm going to talk about one that Sarah's probably going to disagree with. Number one, Beyond the Boundary. That series was awful and boring. And it sucks because it was a Kyoto Animation show, which had been hitting it out of the ballpark when it comes to series. It had Chunibyo, Hyoka, K-On!, Lucky Star, Haruhi, just all these series that were really good, and then came out with Free, which one I didn't include because it was last year, and because it got kind of some good reviews, even though I didn't like it, which is about like male swimmers, and then Beyond the Boundary, which it's just a boring series. It just doesn't have anything going for it. It was just dull. Other than that, we have Blaz Blue, which is the anime series based on the popular fighting game, Blaz Blue. And that had the similar problem where it just had no substance. It felt literally like it felt with what the problem we have with a lot of adaptations of video games into movies. It didn't feel like they actually wanted to like do anything with the characters. They just told the exact same story that they told in the video game, like piece by piece. And I see
Yeah.
Sarah raising her hand, so go ahead.
No, she was talking. We were going through this old list of other shows that we were watching. We were looking at like Looney Tunes shows, Amazing World of Gumball. These are all good series, but they weren't new this year.
Yeah, they have a list of animated series 2013. If you just look that up.
Yeah.
What's that series that you
And then another one, which is technically a second season, but was this year and was awful, is Ore Imo Season 2. Which, I don't know why I watched the show in the first place, because I kind of knew what was going to happen. It's a show about a little sister who's attracted to her older brother. And surprise, surprise, at the end of the series, they admit their love for each other. And it's very odd, and it's very off-putting, and it's not in a very fun way that they do it. It's just like these two characters lust after each other for 2 seasons,
I love you.
Ew.
and then the last few episodes they basically abandon all idea of
Sid.
of being like of having a normal like life and relationship, and just admit their love for each other and almost get married.
Yay!
It's just
Ew.
weird, and it wasn't a very good series. It got very weird towards the end.
I bet. It's one of my favorites.
So now we're going to talk about worst internet cartoons,
Oh.
and I
Oh.
guess
Oh.
this is going to be the most controversial statement I'm going to ever make on this podcast, and that is number 1 is Ruby.
No. This will not be controversial. I want to go out and state this outright. Given the team that's behind Ruby, the size of them, and the amount of just track record that they have and output that they have, Ruby should be a great series. And it has the potential to be a great series. It's just that the guy who's in charge of it, as far as I can tell, doesn't really care about making it anything other than anime memes, the show.
So here's what I'll say about this. This had, like you said, a lot of potential to be a really good show. And I actually looked forward to it when I saw the first trailer. I looked forward to it when I saw the second trailer, and then they started showing off their writing and their acting. And I think that's what hurts the show. This show had a ton of potential and still does have a ton of potential, but what hurts it is that it doesn't feel like it's really, really trying. It's just pandering to a specific audience.
It just feels like a fan show, which I mean, granted, a lot of fans can make decent material, but you can't make decent material if all you're doing is catering to fans. You have to push the envelope, and you have to be willing to tick some people off.
You have to be willing
The
to,
outfits don't make the show.
yeah, you have to be willing to take some risks, and it doesn't feel like he took any risks in this show. It doesn't feel like he really
It doesn't
even,
feel like he wants to.
It doesn't feel like he wants to like make it any more than what it is, and what it is kind of just a bland show. And another thing like this, you can disagree. People can disagree with it or not. I think another thing would really hurt the show is that it's almost completely an in-house production, including actors and
Yeah.
lighting.
Yeah, I mean,
They have good actors in it. I will say that there are some characters in there that I think were very well done, but other characters I think could have benefited from having some outside help. And I have some of my own theories on why the show is bad. I'm not going to say like any of them are correct. I know nothing about the production of this show, but I've worked on productions myself, and I've worked on some pretty bad productions in my time, and I can tell you what made those bad. And I'm just going to go ahead and say the one thing that makes a production like this bad is sometimes when you give the creator too much control.
Yeah.
When you're putting a creator in every aspect of it and letting him have final say in absolutely everything, complete creative control without any real input from other people, and he's just basically commanding everybody to do what they want, which I can't say that he did this. Maybe he had no input on anything, and maybe a lot of the bad decisions were people that weren't even part of his thing.
Yeah.
And if that's true, then I'm completely wrong, and I will admit that I'm wrong. I have no trouble being I'm wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. But I feel that maybe he had too much control, and I think he made only the series that he would enjoy, and I think that's what hurt it.
Yeah. I mean, and if we can go back and talk about particularly the acting aspect of it, this company, Rooster Teeth, all of them have done acting within the shows, and a lot of them aren't bad at it. For a lot of them, the kind of the joke or the humor, which they delve, almost exclusively in humor, comes from the fact that some of the people can't really act well. You're aware of the fact that they're acting and that they're almost uncomfortable in this situation.
Yeah.
You translate that, which stage or physical acting is a much easier to do in terms of reaction than voice acting, because you don't have anyone there to play off of. To take those people who are, just scraping by on acting physically and then have them voice act, that's going to make it a lot worse.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna mention any names. I'm not gonna point anybody out for being a bad actor, because you know what, sometimes people just people just aren't as good as they want to be, and can't
Yeah.
fault them for that. But one decision that I'm going to go ahead and openly question, and it's probably the only time I'm ever gonna single out a single thing, was the hiring of one actress who I think should not have been hired. And that is, in the last episode, they reveal that one of the main villains is voiced by a woman by the name of Jessica Negri, which is a famous cosplayer. And
Well, and I think we all know what was going on behind the choice to cast her.
I'm not going to say anything about that. I don't know. I'm not going to say why he cast her, because I have no idea. But I think that
It was a bad idea.
hiring a cosplayer to be an actor where you're not seeing them is a very questionable choice, because then you're taking away what they're known for and taking something that you have no idea if they actually have any talent in.
Yeah.
Which maybe, like, she only said like a few lines, so maybe she's a great actress. But all I know her for is having a pretty body.
Yeah.
I don't know if she can act or not, and
Well, I mean, it's going to be a risk either way. Is the idea?
yeah, I'm just gonna say that if cosplayers were actors, they usually don't cosplay.
Yeah.
Like, one of the main reasons people cosplay is because they really can't act, or they can't like make their own stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not even trying to say bad things about cosplayers. Like,
Let's go ahead and steer this away from that, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we've made our point.
Yeah, so
that's our little rant on
and I'll
Ruby.
say one more thing about Ruby.
Okay.
I think if they fix their problems, and I think they're aware of some of their problems, because I've heard some complaints from other fans, and it's not very secret that that's not the most liked show. If they fix their problems, I think that it could be a great series. It has the potential
Yes.
to be a great series. It's just that they have a lot of stuff they have to work on.
One of the problems I had when it was first launched, particularly with the you'd hear all these fans saying, "Guys, I know the voice acting isn't great and the story is blasé and the animation isn't on par, but come on, guys, it's a new series. Give it a chance." And let me state this frank, for anyone who doesn't know about the animation world and doesn't understand how this works. If what you're putting as a production doesn't look exactly how you want it to look at the end, at the very last episode to go with, don't put it out there,
Yeah,
because that is not acceptable. You cannot get by on the excuse of being a new series. If what you're doing looks unfinished, it's going to look unfinished forever.
yeah, and that's one of the main things that I've always noticed kind of separates between live action series and animated series, because in live action series, you can kind of there's kind of the unspoken rule in live action series, which is the first episode rule, which is
Yeah.
in the first episode you can take chances that you may not pay off for and later on you might have character quirks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But basically, like a production wise, it's actually kind of the same. In production, if something looks like crap and you're not going to fix it, if the first episode looks like crap, then if you're on TV, it's going to be canceled.
Yeah.
Like
Don't use it.
and in like animation, you actually have a lot more room to fix it because in
Yeah.
live action you can record something and then not notice if something looks bad until it's on air, and then
And then you have
that's
to bring
it.
the people back and redo the whole thing.
Yeah,
And in animation, you can fix it just by, bringing in a couple of animators and having them rework something. You don't have to redo the voices or anything like that.
yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, another series
that
to
easy.
kind of be even about it. There's another series that I do want to mention on worst internet cartoons,
Okay.
and unfortunately, it's a cartoon hangover series,
Mm.
and that is Super Fuckers.
Yeah. And that's the one I was talking about at the beginning that was kind of disappointing.
I will not say it's a badly made show. For all it's worth, it's well animated and well put together.
It looks finished. It looks
Yeah.
like a finished show.
The problem is the audience that it was pandering to was not the audience that wanted to watch it.
Yeah. I think that was a big issue.
It's kind of the Ren and Stimpy Invader Zim audience that they kind of wanted, the young teenager type audience, but they just weren't there. And
Yeah.
that's
Well, I mean, it felt like, okay, you know how there are like Ren and Stimpy, which is very adult, crass, fart jokes and humor. It felt like a show that was written like that, but that they were trying to get past certain censors. It felt almost watered down, even with all the swear words in it.
yeah.
It
Well,
felt weak.
it felt like it was using the curse words as a crutch because they couldn't be censored.
Yeah.
And suddenly it was just now, oh, let's say every curse word that we can think of, and instead of actually, thinking of like a interesting line here, let's just say,
Yeah.
oh, fuck it. Let's literally just say fuck it because we
And
can't.
shock will only work as entertainment for so long.
Yeah, and when you have the internet, which has more shocking things on it,
Yeah.
you kind of it wasn't a bad show. It was just a massive
Yeah.
disappointment.
It didn't like when I first heard the name Superfuckers, I was like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And it wasn't.
No.
It most definitely was not.
So I'm guessing we don't have very many other internet cartoons unless Sarah has one.
Uncle Grandpa. Well, that's not an internet cartoon. That's that's an actual studio one. What was it? It's now an actual TV show, but I don't know how long ago it started. But Annoying Orange.
Wait 1 second on that.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
we're going to move into worst cartoon, and this gets a special mention because after a year on the air, a few weeks ago, on December 3rd, I believe,
Mhm.
Annoying Orange was canceled.
Yes.
It premiered last year and ran for an entire year on television.
If you were a huge fan of Annoying Orange, I'm sorry. I know this is a big moment for you, but suck it. We won.
Annoying Orange, like, I've watched some of it. It's probably one of the worst ideas to become popular.
I mean,
Hurts
it
me.
delivers everything it promises. It's annoying, and it's about an orange,
Oh.
but it's not funny.
Isn't this one of the bad
It's
ones
literally
here?
just
yeah.
annoying.
Why?
Oh, you're talking about Napoleon Dynamite, the animated series? Yeah, don't watch that.
Yeah.
It only lasted like 6 months.
I mean, it wasn't even terrible. It was just dumb.
There's actually
But-
another series. I'm gonna mention one series. And I'm gonna research this one because this one's actually pretty good. One that I really didn't watch, and by all means is not a terribly made series, but the fact that it's on air means another series is not on air makes me hate it. So I'm going to mention Teen Titans Go. Because Teen Titans Go, to be on air, caused the cancellation of Young Justice, which was a
Ah,
fantastic show,
Oh no.
which was replaced by Teen Titans Go, which is not a very good show.
I am disappointed in you, America.
Cleveland show though. Was good.
I was actually surprised at how good the Cleveland show was, but that's a couple of years
Yeah,
old.
that's gone now. It's a show. Okay, the other show I was going to talk about is a show called Out There, which plays on IFC. I think it premiered earlier this year. It's just about. It's basically if Napoleon Dynamite the cartoon was good, it'd be Out There. It has a very good main cast. Justin Roiland, who you might know as Lemon Grab.
Yeah.
He plays one of the main characters. You have Kate Micucci, who is part of Garfunkel and Oates, the ukulele band.
hmm
She's the one. She's the one with the big nose.
I know who you're talking about. She's also been on Big Bang Theory a lot.
You have John DiMaggio, Fred Armisen, just a bunch of and Stephen Root, just a bunch of good people. But yeah, that's actually a show that I should have mentioned earlier. Out There, which is probably another very good cartoon. So the rest of these, I don't watch very many bad cartoons. I only watch something if someone recommends it.
Let me tell you about one that I don't count particularly as a terrible show, but I just feel jumped the gun on being great in terms of processing it more for kids. Uncle Grandpa.
What's it about? I've never heard.
Uncle Grandpa. It's not about any. It's a slapstick show about we make up the plot as we go along. A lot like along the lines of like SpongeBob SquarePants or something of that nature, and it has that kind of humor. Really, it is very ingrained in it, but a lot of the jokes seem too prepared.
Okay.
They don't seem organic to the story, and they're too randomly thrown into this prepared world for it. And it's the pacing on it is really awful. I feel like if they put just the tiniest more iota of work into it, it would be an amazing show because all the spark is there. It just feels like it's too concentrated, I guess.
If I can mention another one that premiered on Cartoon Network, I don't think it was this year. I'm pretty sure it wasn't this year. Mad.
Yeah, Mad TV for the new one for
Yeah,
Cartoon.
the cartoon
Network?
one. Yeah, that premiered in 2010, but I'm just gonna go ahead and make a special mention for that. It's not a very good show.
And it's such a shame too because Mad TV was great.
Used to be funny.
Was amazing back when it was a live action on Comedy Central.
Yeah, for the first few seasons, I can't say
It was on Fox.
much. Yeah,
On
I can't say
Fox?
much
It was
for.
on
I
Fox.
watched it on
Yeah.
Comedy Central. Maybe it was in syndication.
Yeah, it was on syndication and Comedy Central, but it was on Fox.
If it wasn't for them, we never would have gotten Key and Peele, which is a great show,
Yeah,
but not an animation.
that's animation. So, as I was saying, I don't watch very many bad shows, so I can't say much about these. But while looking through shows that premiered this year, I noticed 3 that made me scratch my head. Like, why did these get made? Which is number 1, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures.
Yeah.
I just saw that. I was looking at that.
We already had a Pac-Man show, and guess what? It was bad.
Yeah, and now we had another one that was also bad.
Second one,
Maybe they won't make a third one.
next one is NFL Rush Zone.
I haven't watched that, but I've heard of it.
What?
I've never heard of it until now. And it's like, and it's another one of those shows where it's like, I can't even say if it's good or bad. I just don't know why it was made.
It's not even on this list.
Yeah, well, it was the weirdest thing ever.
And then one, which I'm just going to go ahead and say, I never understood this series as a whole. It premiered a long time ago, and I just don't understand it. The Total Drama series.
Oh yeah, it is still
That's
going.
still going on?
Yeah, they've been
This year
loading
they
new
premiered
episodes.
Total Drama All Stars.
All
Oh,
Stars.
God.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
It was what, like a...
Well, I mean, it's like Drawn Together, the kid version. But the thing that made Drawn Together funny was the fact that it was just rambunctious adult humor.
Which, by the way, I look back to Drawn Together, not a very good show.
No, it isn't.
No, that was the point. Is that it was bad.
But yeah, I just don't understand. It's been what, like, how long is Total Drama been on? Like Total Drama Island was the
9
first
plus
one.
4, 13 seasons.
Dude, this was going on like back, I think,
I
before
just
you and
counted
I
all the
met.
season. It's 13.
This was the original premiered in 2007.
Jesus, that's the year I graduated high school.
Yeah. This series has been going on since 2007 and it's 2013 now, so
Yeah, that's almost
that's
7 years.
That's 6 years. Going on 7.
13 seasons.
I don't know
13 seasons in 6
who's
years.
funding this.
So yeah, that
A
and
shark is a main character in this.
uh
Looking at it.
and that was the last one here. So any others that you want to mention real quick before we sign out here?
The Angry Birds cartoon isn't terrible, but isn't nearly, is not necessary and is not done in a way that would render it worth keeping around.
I still don't know what the hell I was watching.
So I was looking it up, and the only like Angry Bird series I could find was one that was in Brazil. So
I have no idea where it's from. I just know I saw it on here.
Click back.
Angry Birds Tombs. There's a Finnish version.
Dude.
I don't understand Angry Birds as a whole. Like I don't understand how they can now sell it.
I don't either.
But yeah, that's
It's literally the exception that proves the rule that you really shouldn't make huge series out of apps.
Are there any other huge series out of apps?
No, I'm shocked too with how much Candy Crush was a huge thing in Temple Run. But imagine making shows out of that.
Oh, I better play that pop.
They have about as much premise as Angry Birds with a little less story. Guy gets chased by monkeys. Turn left or turn right.
Huh?
So yeah,
18 seasons.
So yeah, before we end here, I'm just going to go ahead and reiterate: watch Axe Cop, watch Steven Universe, and watch.
I'm watching Axe Cop tonight, man.
I'm
That
gonna
looks
watch
awesome.
Pokemon Origins first.
Pokemon Origins premiered this year.
Yeah, I want to watch it. Apparently, it's supposed to be really good, and I just found the first episode, so we're gonna watch that.
Yeah, it's only like 4 episodes long, and it goes through the entire Pokemon Red.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I can't really mention anything about that because I never saw it, but it's gotten good reviews.
Oh, it looks pretty. Like from what I've seen, the animation looks nice.
Yeah,
Very fluid. It's not like super bright, like washed away kind of look. Like what the
Yeah.
series looks like on TV right now. It actually looks deeper. It colors. Okay,
yeah.
wait.
So yeah, watch Axe Cop, watch Steven Universe by Rebecca Sugar, watch Mickey Mouse, which is shockingly very good. And continue watching Adventure Time, regular show, Gravity Falls, American Dad, Bravest Warriors. Look forward to being Puppy Cat, which should be coming out next year, I believe.
Guys, if you're listening, continue to support independent animation, particularly shows on YouTube, because one of the reasons that companies like Disney are taking all these chances and making all these new shows is because they're learning, particularly through sites like YouTube and just the internet in general. New ideas are out there, and people who aren't necessarily that ahead in the business are making some really good stuff.
And I'll
So
go
keep
ahead and say,
supporting.
like, we may not like Ruby very much, but it was a very big undertaking, and they're
Huge.
They're getting some good returns from it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That
That series has already paid itself off, man.
Yeah, despite my dislike for it, it's popular.
Yeah. And it's going to change how people approach things. So definitely.
It's going to change how people approach things for better or for worse.
Yeah, but that's why it's so important for us to support independent animation. We are the reason that they make this stuff, guys. If we're given the viewership and the money, they will give us what we want.
Definitely. So yeah, that's our final message for 2013. That cartoon podcast says, support the independents. Have your pet spayed or neutered.
Okay, Bob.
Okay, well, first part, not the second part. I've been Zach.
I've been Evan.
Thank you for listening.
Take care, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah's already over.
If you celebrate something, enjoy it. If you don't, well, then sit around and enjoy that. Have a good one, guys.
Happy end of the year, Spaghetti Monster.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.